The first time I met his mom, she hugged me, whispered, "Welcome home, baby," and burst into tears. I thought it was just an awkward misunderstanding. But then I found the hidden room, with pictures of me, from before I ever met them. I never expected to fall for someone like Jamie. He was everything I wasn't. Confident, funny, from a wealthy family with a picture-perfect life. When he invited me to spend spring break at his family's lake house, I almost said no. His world was so different from mine. But Jamie said, "You'll love my mom. She's a little intense, but she means well." That was an understatement. When I stepped out of the car, his mom ran down the stairs like she'd been waiting for me for years. She didn't even look at Jamie. She looked straight at me. "You came back. You really came back," she whispered, hugging me so tight I could barely breathe. Jamie awkwardly laughed it off. "She does that sometimes," he said. "You look a lot like someone she used to know." But there was something in her eyes, recognition, relief, and something else, something I couldn't place. The tension rises. The weekend started off okay. Jamie and I went kayaking, took photos, and made jokes about how his mom clearly had a weird parasocial crush on me. But then I noticed little things. She had a portrait of a young girl in the hallway, same haircut as me, same birthmark on the neck. There was a bracelet on her nightstand that matched the one I got from my foster family when I was 6. And at dinner, she asked me if I remembered our old dog, a golden retriever named Luna. I laughed awkwardly. "Nope, never had a dog." But her face just dropped. She whispered, "Maybe the trauma really did erase everything." I nearly dropped my fork. What was she talking about? Was it just a weird coincidence? Or was there something she wasn't telling me? And that night, I found the room. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, Jamie's mom, looking at me like I was a ghost. So I got up. I was just going to get water. But then I noticed something off. The door at the end of the hallway, the one I thought was a closet, was open just a crack. And inside, boxes, old toys, drawings, dolls, all covered in dust, all marked with the same name. Lily. That's not my name. But one of the drawings, in crayon, had a girl holding hands with a woman who looked exactly like Jamie's mom. The girl's face, it was my face. I stepped inside. In the corner, there was a small bed. Above it, a photo tacked to the wall. Me, at age 6, in a park I didn't remember being in. Suddenly, the light flicked on behind me. Jamie's mom was standing in the doorway. Her voice was trembling. "I knew you'd come back here. I knew you'd remember." I froze. I didn't know what to say. She walked slowly toward me, holding something in her hand, a tiny pink bracelet. "You wore this every day until the day you disappeared," she said. "I lost Lily in a car accident. They told me she drowned. But I knew. I knew she was still alive. And now you're here." I wanted to scream, but my voice barely worked. "I'm not Lily," I said, backing away. "I don't remember any of this. I grew up in foster care. My name is Ellie. I'm from the city." But she just smiled, this soft, broken smile. "They changed your name." "Of course they did. They gave you to strangers. But I found you, baby. I found you." Jamie burst into the room, confused and terrified. "Mom, what are you talking about?" She turned to him and said, "She's not your girlfriend. She's your sister." I ran. Out of that room. Out of that house. Barefoot. Crying. I didn't know where to go, so I just ran. When Jamie caught up to me hours later, I was sitting at the bus stop, shivering. "You okay?" he asked. I looked up at him. "Am I your sister? Because if I am, I can't. I don't know how to breathe anymore." Jamie didn't have answers. He was just as broken as I was. So we did the only thing we could. We got a DNA test. I didn't tell his mom. I didn't tell anyone. I needed the truth. While we waited for the results, we barely spoke. The silence was unbearable. And then, the email came. My hands were shaking, so hard I could barely open it. Probability of full sibling relationship, 0%. I wasn't Jamie's sister, but I also wasn't her daughter. I wasn't Lily. Jamie hugged me tight. "You're not my sister," he whispered. "But that doesn't make this easier." We went back to his house together, determined to confront his mom with the truth. She was sitting at the table, her hands trembling around a chipped mug of tea. When I showed her the results, she broke. Not angrily. Not defensively. Just broken. I wanted so badly for you to be her, she said. You look exactly like Lily would have by now. The same eyes. The same way of laughing. She pulled out an old news clipping. A missing persons report. There it was. A girl who looked just like me. But her name wasn't Lily. It was Eliza Grace Halden. Taken from her home during a custody battle when she was 5. And suddenly it hit me. That was me. I wasn't Lily. But I was someone who'd been lost for a long time. After that night, I couldn't sleep. I stayed up searching every name, every clue. Eliza Grace Halden had vanished 10 years ago, but now I had to know where I came from, who took me and why. I started digging through online archives, forums, missing persons boards, anything. And then I got an anonymous DM. Stop looking. You were taken for a reason. My blood turned cold. I asked who it was. No reply. Next morning, Jamie and I went to the local courthouse. We needed real documents, birth certificates, hospital records, something. It took hours, but finally, buried deep in the records. Eliza Grace Halden, born July 4th, 2010. Mother, Dr. Meredith Halden. Father, unknown. Dr. Meredith Halden, a famous neurologist who disappeared shortly after her daughter was taken. My real mother had vanished too. The moment I saw her name, Meredith Halden, something stirred in me. I started having flashes of white rooms, bright lights, a woman's voice humming lullabies, and then a man's shadow, heavy boots. Don't cry, Eliza. You're safe now. But it wasn't safe. It was never safe. Jamie found something too, an old news article. A nanny had been accused of kidnapping Eliza after a heated custody battle. But the case fell apart due to lack of evidence, and the girl was never found. The nanny's name? Carla M. Jameson. Jamie's mom. When Jamie saw the article, he just froze. That can't be right. My mom isn't, she wouldn't. I wanted to say the same, but all the pieces were fitting too well. Carla had always been overprotective of Jamie, and even weirder around me. There were moments she looked at me like she knew me. Jamie ran out of the room, tears in his eyes. I followed, yelling, Jamie, wait. He turned around, eyes red, voice shaking. If this is true, that means my whole life was a lie too. We were both spiraling, both betrayed, and worst of all, both alone. That night, I went back to Jamie's house alone. I had to know. While Carla was out, I snuck into her bedroom. Everything was tidy, too tidy, like someone trying to hide chaos beneath control. Then I found it, a door. Small, with an old keyhole. I knew I had to see what was inside. After a frantic search, I found the key in a jewelry box. I opened the door. Inside was a trunk, old baby clothes, a faded pacifier, a journal with my name on it. But the last page was the worst. It said, she was never supposed to remember. Not like this. I dropped the book, and that's when I heard a voice behind me. Eliza, what are you doing? I turned around, and Carla was standing in the doorway, eyes full of rage. Carla stepped into the room slowly. I told them this would happen, she said quietly. You weren't supposed to remember. You were supposed to grow up normal, safe. I backed away, clutching the journal. Safe from what, Carla? From you. Her eyes filled with tears, but they weren't the angry ones anymore. They were broken. From the truth, Eliza. The people who gave birth to you, they didn't want you. Silence. Deafening silence. You were a mistake. A scandal. I took you in to protect you, I fought for you. But I couldn't tell you. If you knew the truth, you'd go looking, and they'd hurt you again. I couldn't breathe. My mind was spinning. My real parents gave me away, and the woman I thought was the villain all along, she'd saved me. Later that night, I found Jamie sitting in the park, the journal in his hands. He looked up at me. I read it. I nodded, heart heavy. I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. He shook his head. You didn't know, and neither did I, about any of this. We sat in silence for a long time, and then quietly Jamie said, I don't care where you came from. You're still you. That was when I realized. The truth hurt, but hiding from it hurt more. We both had lies in our past, but from here on out, we'd build something real. Together. And that's how I found out the journal wasn't just about me, it was me. But you know what? I'm glad I read every page. Because now, I finally feel like I'm writing my own story. No secrets. No lies. Just, Eliza, if you made it this far, you deserve a friendship bracelet and a chocolate bar. But since I can't teleport those through the screen, how about you drop a like instead? Comment below. What would you do if you found a journal all about you? Share this with your most dramatic friend. You know the one. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next secret file. Because here at Ruby's Secret Files, even the truth comes with a twist.